When you finish with the previous instructions and you have covered all of your Photoshop layers with new Illustrator squares that are symbols, now you're ready to bring in your revised value scales, your new value scales. So in order to do that, I'm just going to push the image off to the side, and I've already copied it, so now I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm just going to put it right next to the image. And if we zoom in here, you can see that this scale is made out of little faces. So the way that we do the redefine symbol, I'll move over here just a little bit, is you're going to select the symbol that you want to redefine, then you will select the unit that this symbol is going to become, and then you go to the drop down on the symbols palette and you go to redefine symbol. Let's see if you can see that. You go to redefine symbol. And you should be able to see that everything that was a number 9 has now been replaced. So then I'm going to click on 8 and then click on 8 over here, go up to my drop down, redefine symbol. And now everywhere where there were 8s, those have changed. Now I go to my 7 and my 7. And let me zoom out here a little bit so we can see a little bit more what's going on. Now, when you're in Illustrator, don't worry too much about how it looks from a distance. You see how this changes? This is the preview in Illustrator. So at different lengths of zoom, it's going to look different. What's going to really count is if you did the testing of your value scale using the Photoshop blur average and that worked, then it really, when you do print it out, it should work. The only thing you're going to need to test when you print it out is sort of the directionality of the symbols. In other words, if you have some symbols that are going horizontal and others that are going vertical, it might create a little bit of texture conflict. So you want to keep, if you have things that tend to go in a diagonal, you want to keep them all kind of going at the same diagonal. In this case, it's kind of doing something a little bit circular and vertical at the same time. And as I make my way through all of these symbols, so you can see how now most of your work is done in Illustrator, and it's really just your symbols that you need to work on and put in here. And if after you print this out, you notice that one of the symbols really should be a little bit darker or a little bit lighter, you can go back to either your original symbol, whatever program, or whether you handmade it, and you can make the revisions there, or if you know how, you can do some retouching in Photoshop or Illustrator, and then you just recrop it to the same size, and you can bring in just that one symbol. So let's say I'd took this into Photoshop, made a few changes to it, come back here and then redefine it again, and boop, everything is going to be updated. So now this has gone from being a simple grayscale to being a portrait that when these are 1 inch and this is blown up really big, you will really be able to see the details. So the idea is that from a distance, it's a portrait of you, and from up close, it has another message. Now that message does not have to be figurative, it can be abstract, but it should answer the question of how do you see language in relationship to self? So how does the idea of language work into this sort of subliminal design of a self-portrait of yourself? And that's it.